here. After months of teasers and a 3-month delay, the most anticipated piece of backpacking gear this year is finally here. This is my Durston sticker. And this is the new Durston X-Dome Pro 1 Plus, a fully freestanding double-walled Dyneema tent. And this has a real chance of being the best ultralight freestanding tent available. Dan was kind enough to allow me early access to this so I could go test it out and tell you all about it, but I still did pay full price for it. So here's a quick breakdown of what to expect in this video. So in the studio here, I'm gonna do a quick breakdown of the price and all the specs. Then I'm gonna take you guys along on a backpacking trip where I'll show you all the features of this tent and give it a real test out in the mountains. But keep in mind, this is clearly an initial review. I'll do a long-term review down the line when I get more nights in it. But real quick, if you're new here, hi everyone, I'm Justin and welcome to the channel. Let's hit the trail. Here we talk about all things hiking and backpacking, especially backpacking. So if that's your kind of thing, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, this video is coming out right after the tent went on sale, so it probably sold out in the first couple of minutes. So hopefully this either gets you pumped up the tent that you just bought, or it'll help you make a decision if you want to buy this or not when the next batch is released, which is, hopefully in a couple of months or so, but I'm not sure with the Dyneema shortage and all. Now, let's get the elephant out of the room. This is a pricey tent. This is $849, which obviously is a lot of money for a one-person tent or a tent in general. But when you consider the materials used, carbon fiber poles all the way through, Dyneema fly plus a Dyneema 4, they are expensive materials, so it makes sense. And it's actually fair when you compare it to other Dyneema freestanding tents, which there aren't a lot of. The Hyperlight Cross Peak 1 is about the same price and it doesn't come with any stakes. The Tarp Tent Double Rainbow Double Wall Lee is in that same ballpark. You could get a Z-Pax duplex with the freestanding kit and then it costs about the same, but none of those options offer the same combination of low weight, interior space, freestanding pitch, and true double wall design. And yes, this is a true double wall tent. This is the inner with a Dyneema floor, and this is the completely separate Dyneema fly. The fly, the inner, and the carbon fiber pole set, those three combined for the complete tent, weighs 27.5 ounces, while the typical setup with all those components plus the stakes and the stuff sacks is 29 ounces. Inside the tent, you get 23.5 square feet of floor area, and of course a nice big vestibule because of the Durston geometry. On paper, this could be one of the best, if not the best, ultralight freestanding tents on the market. But an $850 tent needs to do more than just look good on paper. So I am going to head out into the mountains here in Colorado for a night. I'm going to camp above 11,000 feet, and the pattern of afternoon storms has started, so I'm probably going to get some weather. All right, enough talking in here. Let's get outside. Let's hit the trail. I am in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains here in Colorado. I'm going to hike up some alpine lakes, get some big mountain views, and hopefully get the new X-Dome Pro set up before some weather moves in. But don't worry, this video is about the tent, so this is a real quick hiking montage. This looks like a nice spot. I think that'll do. All right, guys, I made it to camp. Just about 7 miles to get here, but over 2,600 feet of elevation gain, so good little push. Well, I am going to set up the X-Dome Pro out in the backcountry for the first time, and hopefully before this rain comes. I'm gonna get going on it. It's a little breezy. So I'm gonna see how long it takes me to set this up with the inner attached. I'm by no means a pro at this. I've only set this up once in my living room, and then the X-Dome 2 on a couple of backpacking trips. So I'm sure most people could do it faster. And while I am handling the poles, there's something I would like to point out, which I'm sure you're already aware, but these poles have carbon inserts, so no aluminum inserts. They are pure carbon poles except for the hub, so that's pretty awesome. All right, that just took me about 4 minutes to get the tent pitched all the way, including the stakes, and some of that was talking to the camera. I'm sure many people out there could probably pitch it faster, but that's good to me. So here we have the fully pitched X-Dome Pro 1 Plus. And of course we have the Dyneema Rainfly. I love the color of it. The Dyneema inner is already attached. We have the all carbon poles. This is just an awesome double-walled, freestanding, ultralight tent. So of course when it comes to pitching any of the X-Domes, you can pitch it with the inner attached to the Rainfly, which is what I have right now. You can pitch the fly only and kind of use it as a tarp, a nice structured Dyneema tarp in this case, or the inner only. And in order to do that, there are separate clips you have to hook on to the inner in order to loop them around the poles. They're not attached to the inner like the regular X-Dome. I'm probably not going to do the inner only pitch right now because there might be some weather moving in, but if you want to see what that looks like, I of course pitched it in my living room, so here's what that looks like if you would like to take a look. So let's do a close-up tour of all the features around the outside of the tent, and then we'll open it up and take a look at the inside. So, like all of the X-Dome tents, the fly clips on to the pole set, so you can pitch it fly first without the inside getting wet. On the head and the foot end, we have two really nice peak vents, so very good ventilation, even with it already being a double-walled tent. Of course, this crossbar adds some excellent interior volume, and there's lots of places to guy this out. Now, I don't have any guy lines attached yet, but obviously you can guy it out a couple places along the corners. The peak vents would be important if you have a breeze coming in this direction. Lots of options, and of course, on the inside you can use trekking poles. I'll show you that in a second for extra stability. All right, let's open it up and take a look at the inside. And of course the door toggles are magnetic, and they're actually really strong magnets too. These are really nice. And I love the size of this door. And the three-way zippers, you can fully open the side of the tent. It's an awesome feature. So much space in here for one person. And a nice sized vestibule, of course. All right, come on in. Let's take a look at the inside. All right, actually before we head inside, I noticed when I was in there that the inner was a little bit loose. And if you watch Dan Durston's pitching guide of the X-Domes, he'll tell you this. So if the inner is loose, that means the fly is probably too tight and just the inner isn't extended all the way with the stakes. So what you want to do is loosen the Rainfly, then pull out the inner with the stake all the way on all four corners, and then adjust the fly accordingly. That's the best way to get a nice taut pitch of the inner, which is, of course, what I want. So, okay, with that out of the way, let's head inside. So if you take a look at the inner of the tent, so the floor is 50 inches at the head, 29 inches at the foot. It is 85 inches across, which is actually a few inches shorter than most 88-inch floor tents. But if you go at an angle, there is 90 inches, so a little longer if you sleep diagonal. So we can see a nice big vestibule. Obviously, this is a key feature of the X-Dome. By tapering the floor, you can still have a nice dome-shaped exterior and lots of vestibule space. Here's a close-up look at the magnetic door toggles. And of course, we can see how the fly attaches to the inner, just these little clips right here. So lots of great space in here, especially for one person. I want to say it's 42 inches to the top of the mesh. I'll put the right number on the screen, but I have a lot of headroom here, mind you. I don't have any gear in here yet. The floor area is nice and big, 23.5 square feet, which is awesome for a one-person tent. And real quick, behind me, here is the storage in the tent. So we have a nice wide mesh pocket that goes all the way across the width of the tent, and then one corner storage pocket. So pretty good storage for a one-person tent. All right, I am going to inflate my sleeping pad, get my quilt in here so you can see what it looks like with a full sleep system set up. If you guys aren't on the pad pump bandwagon yet, you should be, especially when you're camping at almost 12,000 feet. This is nice. So, as we can see, there's a flask of whiskey. There is also a 25-inch wide sleeping pad. Now, if you're familiar with the dimensions of the regular X-Dome, these are the same. But again, an 85-inch wide floor. So, with the regular length wide pad, this is what it looks like. We have a little bit of room at the head and a little bit at the foot. But if you're taller and you use a long pad, you might be pretty cramped. So, you could angle it like this, kind of against the door, then you get a little more headroom and foot room, and I think that would work for a taller person. So for reference, I am 5'10", and if I more or less center the pad on the floor, I have pretty decent headroom. It's not a ton, but it's enough. But in order to have this headroom, I do have my foot slightly brushing against the foot end of the tent. Not a big deal though, since it is double walled. So here we have the full sleep system set up. So I have my 25-inch wide Eclipse, my Enlightened Equipment Revelation quilt, and I'm trying out a new Thermarest pillow. And you can see just how much space is in here. Lots of room for a one-person tent. That looks cozy. I feel like I would take this back out on the PCT. And in case you're wondering what it looks like with the door closed from the inside, this is a nice big vestibule. Put my pack right here. Nice and spacious. All right, I don't think there is anything else to show you guys right now about the X-Dome Pro 1 Plus. Now I just have to put it to the test overnight and see how it performs. It still looks like there might be some afternoon showers on the way. So far it has, fortunately, been avoiding me. I do hope, for the sake of testing this tent, that I do get some afternoon thunderstorms or something. But also, for the sake of enjoying my trip, you know, I don't mind if it passes me by. We'll see what happens. Either way, I'll let you guys know tomorrow morning how everything went. I'll talk to you guys then. Cheers. I'll tell you what, having all this room is pretty nice right now. Good morning. I would say that was a very successful first night in the X-Dome Pro. Ended up raining from 5 o'clock to about 9 o'clock, so 4 hours straight. Got pretty heavy with some thunderstorms, and even ended up hailing at one point. And the X-Dome held up like a champ. Somehow this morning I woke up with zero condensation or moisture inside. My quilt was completely dry. Even the walls, the Dyneema walls of the tent, were dry. So this is a win on night one. Anyway, I'm going to finish my coffee, have a little bit of breakfast, then I'll recap everything from yesterday and go over my final thoughts on the X-Dome Pro 1 Plus. As I have already mentioned, I ended up getting some good rain last night. It wasn't one of those afternoon storms that comes and goes in 30 minutes. No, it rained for 4 hours straight. Started as a light sprinkle, and then the thunder and the lightning came, and it definitely started raining hard. And eventually it turned into hail. And the X-Dome Pro held up awesome. I was getting some splashback when it was raining really hard, but the solid inner mesh of the inside definitely kept me dry. And of course, it kind of goes without saying, but the Dyneema fabric doesn't stretch, completely waterproof. It did great, and even this morning, it's dry. Although, I guess, there's one small puddle right here. But other than that, it's completely dry. Only thing that's really wet is probably down here along the edge, where some dirt got on here. Try to shake that off a little bit before I pack it up, but yeah, this passed the rain test in my books. Sometime in the wee hours in the morning when I had to get up and go pee, I actually opened up the Rainfly and finished off the night like this, and again, woke up completely dry inside, no condensation. But even though I got some good rain, wasn't a lot of wind to go with it, a little bit of a breeze, but nothing extreme. But I know if you use the guy lines and the trekking poles, this can take about anything you throw at it. So real quick, I want to go over who I think this tent is for, go over some other tents that are somewhat comparable, and then give you my final thoughts on it. Let's start with who this tent I don't think is for. The first is, just casual backpackers. If you're just getting out every now and then, maybe like 2 or 3 times a year, I don't think you need to drop $800 on a tent. Of course, unless you had the money for it. But if backpacking isn't your main hobby, I don't think you need to fork out money for a tent this nice. I think you can get away with spending half that much and just carrying a few extra ounces. I also don't think it's for real gram weenies. Although yes, this is sub 2 pounds, 1.8 all in. It's still not as light as a single walled trekking pole tent. So if you're really trying to save weight, I think you can go lighter. I also don't think this is for tall people. I'm 5'10", and seemingly no matter how I position the pad inside, I'm always pretty close to hitting my head or my foot on one of the side walls. And I think it's just because the floor is 85 inches. If it was like 88 inches inside, I think it'd be okay. It's actually 88 inches from the edge of the fly to the edge of the fly. But again, that shorter interior I don't think is going to work for tall people. So if you're 6 foot plus, you could probably make it work if you're kind of crunched up inside a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be that comfortable. And I guess that would apply to the regular X-Dome too, not just the Pro. So who is this tent for? I bet you this is going to be one of the most popular tents on the long distance trails in the next couple of years, at least in terms of freestanding tents. So I think a lot of thru hikers who are looking at freestanding tents I think this is going to become the top option. I don't know if it's going to replace the trekking pole tents just due to the lightweight nature of them, but I think any thru hiker looking at freestanding tents, this is going to be the one. I also think it's for, well, passionate backpackers like me. Even if you're not going out on long distance thru hikes, if you're getting out backpacking all the time, I think it's worth investing in your hobbies. And if you want a freestanding tent, I don't think you can get better than this. For the past, I don't know, 4 or so years, I've primarily been using trekking pole tents. I've got my 1-person trekking pole tent, and I picked up a 2-person Dyneema trekking pole tent for the PCT. We've been using that for 3 years now. But we've been wanting to go back, and I have been wanting to go back just to the ease of use and the simplicity of a double-walled freestanding tent. Trekking pole tents are nice. They're light. You definitely save weight with them. But with a freestanding tent like this, you can set it up on uneven terrain without having to fuss with your pitch. You can take the rainfly off and just sleep with the inner, which, if it's nice out, I will be doing that all the time. This is great with moisture management, as I observed last night. Again, you can go lighter if you want to do a single-wall trekking pole tent, but if you just want the best double-wall freestanding tent, this is it. So what else is out there that can compare to this? And really, there aren't a lot of options. I'm thinking of some other freestanding Dyneema tents. There's like the Hyperlight Cross Peak 1 and the 2, but those aren't double wall, they're single wall, smaller interior volume, and more expensive than this. You can make the Tarp Tent Rainbow tents freestanding by using your trekking poles, and they got the Rainbow Lee and the double Rainbow. Now they have a double wall Lee, so also a separate Dyneema fly, but even that double wall version is over half a pound heavier than this. Gossamer Gear has the new The Free, but it's not Dyneema, but it's so tiny. The interior space is like nothing compared to this. I would not want to wait out yesterday's storm, and that I was very glad to have the X-Dome. I said this in my X-Dome 2 review video, and I'll say it again here. I think that the X-Dome Pro 1 Plus is in a league of its own. I don't think there are great comparable options. This is just fantastic. So everything that I've said about this tent, except for maybe the length of the floor, everything's been really positive. So what are some of the downsides of this tent? I think the only other downside is the fact that just due to the nature of the X-Dome or the Durston tents in general, just their setup, you can't just easily deploy the fly if you just pitch the inner only. So moving forward, if I have nice weather, I'm going to bring those clips with me and pitch inner only if I can. But if some weather moves in, I can't just drape the fly over real quick and then remove it. You basically have to unclip the inner, clip on the fly, and then clip the inner back to the fly. It's not a big deal. If you know what weather you have, you can plan accordingly. It's just a small annoyance for me, I guess. You can do it clip by clip and roll part of it back, but it's still a process and not that easy. Aside from that, I don't think there are any other downsides. Maybe the fact that it's $800. Also, maybe it's going to be hard to get your hands on one. I know the first batch sold out immediately by the time you're watching this video, and it's going to be a couple months until the next batch is ready due to the Dyneema shortage, and that batch might sell out right away too. I don't know. So yeah, if you have the money for it and you're able to get your hands on one, I would absolutely do it. I am really looking forward to taking this on more adventures going forward. I'm trying to envision when I would not take this tent, and I can't imagine when I wouldn't want to have it with me. Maybe if I'm really trying to go ultralight, which I kind of plan on making a video about that in the future. Outside of that, this is always going to be with me. But I think that is going to do it for this video. I need to go find somewhere to poop that's not soaking wet, and then I'm going to pack up and get out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If this was helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Lots more gear reviews and trip videos and all that fun stuff in the future. This is the Durston X-Dome Pro 1 Plus. Phenomenal tent. Until next time, I'll see you guys out on the trail. Cheers.